Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So what's
And
today's video?
We're ready for revenge.
Yeah, I'm not really a revengey person, but this is the revenge recommendation video. So this is where someone's getting revenge on someone else in a book or a group of people or a thingy. I don't know.
All right.
Before
you over-explain revenge.
Thank you.
let's just dive right in.
Somebody save me.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be entered to win free books. We love to give away free books on our channel.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. All right. I feel like I read a lot of books that have revenge in it. I think a lot of mafia plots are set up that way.
Oh yeah.
A lot of dark books are set up that way. So I had a plethora to choose from. So, you know. All right.
Okay.
So let's start this revenge thing.
Let's.
Okay. All right. So the first book that I have is Lawless God by Lola King. This is about Kayla and Nathan. So Kayla kind of runs like in this town. This is the fourth book in the North Shores series. North Shore Stones series, whatever. North Shore. It's a fourth book in the series. Anyhow,
are you able to talk today? Goodness.
I know that I can. I read this as a standalone. I want to go back and read the other books, but I have not read it yet. But this is about Kayla and Nathan. In the beginning of the book, Kayla runs this gang. I mean, it's a gang is what it is. And it's on the wrong side of town. And, you know, she's a pretty hard character. She's had a pretty rough life. And then you have Nate, who is like, he runs his own group. It's more of a mafia group for him. And they get thrown into a situation where she's forced to give her body up to him. Quite often, he like blackmails her into it. And she wants to end that. So she sets him up to take the fall for a crime. And she puts him in prison. And he's not supposed to get out for several years. And I think it's like 3 or 4 years later, she finds out that he's been let out of prison. And now he's out for revenge. He's coming to get her. And this is so good. This was such a good book. It had a lot of themes in it that you wouldn't expect for this kind of book. There's some like captive. There's this forced situation. It is just so good. But it's all to get revenge on the girl who threw him into prison wrongfully.
All right.
I
feel like I've read that similar one a few times.
Yeah. It happens. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, hopefully not, but it happens in books. All right.
Oh, I wonder if any of those Idaho pen pal people that you keep watching on our Instagram channel are going to get out and try for revenge. I really hope you don't actually start writing them, Jessica. It is weird how much they pop up on our feed.
Is weird, isn't it? Because there was just the one. I was like, what is this?
Don't lie.
No, there was the one. And I was like, what is this? And now all of a sudden they just do not stop in our For You page. And I don't know where they come from. Yeah, it's interesting. Right. Yeah.
Exactly why they keep showing up.
Yeah, I'm fully obsessed with it. I'm Googling it. No. These people did things that are not right. No. Okay.
Show of hands of who believes Jessica's story.
Yeah. Okay. What's your first freaking book?
Okay. My first book is The Devil by Ashley Jade. And this is a duet. So we have Eden. Eden is 18. And her stepdad is like in his late 20s and was married to her mom. Her mom passed away a couple of years ago. And there was really no love between the two of them. It was all for political stuff. And Kane, who's the stepdad, is hell-bent on becoming mayor of this town. But yet he kind of has feelings for Eden, but he can't really do anything about that because he wants to be mayor and like this is his 18-year-old stepdaughter. From this point, like this sounds kind of like, ooh, what's going to happen here? Well, everything I told you is like nothing compared to what this book actually is. It is insane. So we have Kane, obsessed with running for mayor. And then we have this other character, Damien, who appears, who somehow has messed with Kane's life, or Kane has messed with his life. We don't really know. The two don't like each other. Everyone is out for revenge. Is Eden a victim in all of this, or is she also going to be out for revenge? Who knows? The whole plot is driven by revenge, but we never really know who to be rooting for. Like, this is the craziest story, because at one moment you're like, Kane. Then you're like, poor Eden. Oh my gosh, Eden. Then you're like, Damien. And then you're like, wait, no? Craziest story out there, I swear. I loved it.
Yeah.
The whole plot line is fueled with revenge, though.
But it was. You did not know. I remember when both of us were reading it, we were like, who do I vote? Who do I root for? Like, this was insane. So it's good. It's a good one.
Yeah. You read ahead of me, because you read the first one and told me to read it. And so then I was reading it. So I think you were reading the second one.
I think so.
And I'm like, oh, well, clearly so-and-so. And you're like, yeah, no. And then you're like, but wait, maybe?
Yeah, I couldn't even. Normally, I'm good about predicting these things, and I was like every 5 seconds turned around on who I was supposed to be rooting for. So
yeah,
yeah,
crazy ride.
Yeah, exactly.
But very revengey.
Exactly, very revengey. Yes.
Okay.
So my next book. Yeah, there obviously there's revenge. This is a revenge video, but it is one that I read recently. This is not Net, good gravy. Debt by Nina G. Jones. This one starts out with our heroine, Mia, and she she really does have like a rape fantasy situation in her head. Like, she's talked with her best friend about it, and her bestie's like, you should do it, and she's no. Well, the best friend actually sets one up for herself and has like pays this company to do this. And so then she comes to me and she's like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like, I did it, and it was hot, and it's all like, you don't know who the guy is here, it's all on the down low, it's on the dark web, but you pay them and then you set up everything. Like, there's words that you set up to make sure that this isn't just some crazy guy coming after you. So one drunken night, she actually sets it up. And then a few weeks later, somebody busts into her house and fulfills that fantasy. And then she goes to work a few days later, and there's a guy there who is now taking over her company. She works for a sex toy company, and she's been given the reins to run the company. The person ahead has stepped down, and that is where we meet Tax. And she recognizes the tattoo on Tax's neck, and she's like, oh my God, it's the guy. But was it? And he bought the company for reasons. Like, he's out for revenge. And I'm not going to say anything else, because it's just really hard to tell you guys what this is without giving everything away. But there is revenge in this one. And is it justified? So.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, my next one is part of the Perfectly Imperfect series by Neva Altai. It is Burned Dreams. These go really well if you read them in order, but you could definitely read them out of order as well. So we have Az. Az has been plotting revenge for 8 years. Like, he's committed to this revenge plan of his on Rocco. And he ends up being able to get himself assigned as Rocco's wife's bodyguard. And this is where his whole plan, and remember, 8 years of his life he has been planning this. So this is where his whole plan is going to come to light, where he's going to be able to get his revenge finally on Rocco. And then he learns that Rocco is actually extremely abusive to his wife. I think, well, how do you say her name? Ravenna?
Ravenna.
Ravenna. And then he starts to feel slightly different. And so in this book, we have a serious conflict of his revenge, and then all of a sudden feelings he's developing for her. And this wages major war inside himself on what to do. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. Okay. So speaking of loving the revenge plot, Natasha Knight has a lot of books that like revolve around revenge, and I pulled out one of those because you could almost pull out all of her books, and there's a lot of revenge going on. Not all, but quite a bit. So this is a duet. This is with this ring, and the second book is I Thee Take, but this is about Scarlett and Cristiano. So when the book starts out, Scarlett it's her wedding day. They're both mafia families, and her brothers are forcing her to marry someone that she does not want to marry, but it's for the sake of the family. She is the cartel, I believe, and she does not want to do this. And she gets rescued, just not in the way you think, because Cristiano breaks into her, busts her wedding up, takes her prisoner, kills her brothers, and brings her and her little brother back to his island outside of Naples. And all of this is for revenge because 10 years earlier, Scarlett's family murdered his entire family and shot him. And he has been in a coma for many years. And now that he's woken up, he has amnesia and he does not remember anything before that incident. And so now he's going to force her to marry him, to torture her. Like, it's a whole thing. It's just a whole thing. There's a lot of revenge going on. It's a really good book. It's a really good story. It actually has a third book, which is The Brothers, that breaks off, and it's great. So, speaking of break off,
That hurt.
but it did. So, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. My next one
Mhm.
is just a smutty good revenge.
Okay. Tell us about the smut.
So this is Your Dad Will Do by Katie Robert. And so I wanted to do something a little bit lighter on the revenge side. So Lily's boyfriend cheats on her. And like anyone, obviously she needs to get revenge by going and seeking out his dad, right? I mean, that
Why
would
not?
be anybody's response to their boyfriend cheating on them. But lucky for Lily, her, well, now ex-boyfriend's dad is hot. And she might have a little bit of a daddy kink. So she goes to his house, knocks on his door, and she gets her revenge. And from that point, we just have pages of smutty, revenge filled good times. And I was here for it. I loved it. So, again, a little bit lighter on the revenge side, but I felt like it definitely had a place in this video.
Definitely. Okay, so my next book is Black Skies Riviera by Catherine Wilcher. This one, the revenge isn't necessarily, he's not necessarily trying to get revenge on the heroine, but he's forced to marry the heroine in order to get his revenge. Let me explain that. Okay, so this is about Issa and Aiden. So Issa is a part of the Bratva, and the Bratva has ties to the Sicilian mafia. And the Aiden is kind of like the hired hitman for the mafia, for the Sicilian mafia. And Issa's sister was supposed to marry the head of the head of the mafia's son, and she didn't want to do that, so she ran off and escaped. And Issa knows where she is, but she's not telling anybody. So in order for that to happen, like in order for them to try to find out where she ran off to, they force her to marry Aiden, to take her sister's place and to join the two mafias. Aiden doesn't want to get married. Like, that's not on his bucket list of things to do. He's been trying to get revenge for 14 years on the people who have murdered his family. But he's told if he marries Issa, that he'll get the first name of the person who hurt. There's like two people in particular that he needs to get to. He'll get one name then on his wedding night. He'll get the second name out of Issa. And so, he's forced to marry her. And that's how things go down. I loved this book so much. Yes, it was good. Okay.
All right, so my next one is a little different because instead of our hero being the one out for revenge, it is our heroine, and she's out for revenge on the entire town that she feels has wronged her.
Yep, I know what you're gonna say. Okay, go for it.
Okay, so this is The Summer I Destroyed You by Elizabeth O'Rourke. We have Emmy. Emmy is out for revenge on the entire town, and she has decided she works for a very lucrative development company, and she's in charge of finding the places that they're going to develop. And so she goes to the town that she grew up in, and she wants to tear the whole place down basically and turn it into a huge tourist attraction. And this is how she's getting her revenge on all the people that live there and own like these smaller businesses and things in this kind of quaint beach town. And Liam has lived there his whole life, and he owns his own contracting company, and he wants to save the building in town, and he wants to preserve some of his town while still seeing some of it flourish. He wants to preserve some of its roots. So we automatically are going to have two characters that are at odds with each other. And Liam's company is hired to redo this theater project that Emmy is in charge of, as she's working to take over and destroy the town and get her revenge. And the two of them have a lot of banter towards each other. It is really good. And Liam could kind of be described like a little bit as a cinnamon roll hero, because he truly just wants what's best for Emmy, even if that means stepping aside at times. And Emmy just, she's kind of plowing ahead because she is very guarded.
Mm-hmm. That's
So,
not the book I thought you were going to say.
how does that work?
Do you know what I thought you were going to say?
Probably my next book.
Ooh, I'm going to keep my mouth shut then. Okay.
Yeah, you better.
I will. Okay.
I was wondering why, because I'm like, you haven't read this one, and you just heard me talking about it. I was wondering why, but now I know what you're
now
thinking.
You figured it out, right?
My next one.
Yep.
I'm ended on a theme.
Okay. So my next book is historical, and that is
historical revenge.
Historical and dark.
Ooh.
So that is Brutal Serpent by Kate Raven. So this is about Catherine and the Viscount Saint Erth. And Catherine is a part of a family that the Viscount wants to get revenge on, and we find out why in the book. But he is desperate for revenge, and the way that he's going to get revenge is by bankrupting her family, which check, he's already done. And so that's forcing Catherine to have to marry to save the family. And so that is where he comes in. He's going to marry her. Not only is he going to marry her, he is going to produce an heir, because then he will get, like, once she has her first child, then that husband gets everything. Like he gets everything from the family. So he's going to bankrupt them, and then he's going to knock her up, and he's going to take that baby, and she's out. But, feelings happen. So come on. This isn't very long, but oh my gosh, it was so good and dark and juicy, and it was good. It was good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my next one is our heroine, also out for revenge. But she's out for revenge in a slightly different style than my last
than your last heroine? Okay, so I'm going to let you talk about that one.
Okay. So this is the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. We have Lana. Lana is a serial killer. She's out for revenge, and she basically has a list, and she's checking people off, and she is going for it. When she meets Logan, and Logan works for the FBI, and Logan's job is to track down serial killers. So, how on earth is this story going to work? Now, I will say that Lana is not completely deranged. She has some reasons, and you do find that out as the story goes on. There's several books in the story. And Logan and her are going to kind of fall for each other. But again, how does that work when you have a serial killer out for revenge and your job is to hunt said killer?
Yeah. So good.
Very good. I loved it. It's 5-star read.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put it down. You just devour book after book after book.
Yeah, and it's one of those where when you get done, you're like, I wish I could read it again for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I haven't done a reread of that one yet, but just because I know that I'm going to love it again, but I'm just the feels from the first time and not knowing. So, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So that's it. That is all for revenge.
Well, make sure you hit that notification button so you always know about new videos from us, and check back on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. No.
No, those aren't our days.
Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us. And tell us in the comments, do you like the revenge trope? What are some of your favorite revenge books? Have you read any of that we mentioned? Tell us all the things in the comments.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.